set the recorder here. More people are coming. Let me let people in. We got Karen Lombard and Joy Duffy coming.
No.
All right.
Joy Duffy.
Well done. FX things too.
Okay, so like to we'll get started here, and people will keep showing up, and we'll just add them in as they show up. But I'd like to welcome everybody to this wonderful occasion to celebrate Phil Pierson's 98th birthday, which means he's entering his 99th year on the planet as of tomorrow. So, and we're all here just to wish you the many returns of the season and the greetings. And Margie and Bob, I wonder if I could ask you, would either of you be willing to start us off in prayer?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Yes,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely. Oh, we are so grateful to be together and celebrating our beloved Reverend Phil Pierson. The amazing life he has lived, the amazing life he continues to live as he blesses us, inspires us, and guides us as a wonderful spiritual mentor in our lives. And celebrating all the blessings he brings to us, we bless him today with our love and our prayers and our words and our thoughts and our voices. We say thank you, God, for Reverend Phil Pierson. Thank you for our friend. Thank you for our mentor. Thank you for our minister. And so it is.
Amen.
So it is. Amen. So the format today is going to be very simple. We're just going to, everybody who is moved to share something with Phil, it can be a story, it can be a memory, it can be a thank you, it can be all the above. Many of us have known you for a long time, Phil, so many of us have we have a lot of ammunition, and let's just put it that way. And we've all been through a lot together. So what I'm going to do is ask everyone if you'll mute yourselves and either use your Zoom hand to when you have something you want to say, and I'll just call on you, and you can unmute and share.
How do you mute?
Or if you don't know how to use your Zoom hand, just raise your hand, and I'll catch you on the screen. Let's see. There's a beautiful Mary Mack. Hey, Mary. Andrea, welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
And we got Jack Benson coming in.
Very good.
So we'll wait for him, and he'll be here in a second. We got Mary Lacaille coming in.
Here's okay. Thank you, Terry. You're welcome.
Say, if Brenda's here, we might have somebody to sing happy birthday. Hey, Brenda.
All right. So who would like to welcome Mary? Who would like to share something with Phil?
I would.
Okay, Mary, go right ahead.
Still remember the book you gave me, Metaphysics of Buckminster Fuller. And just somewhat scanning because my eyes aren't the best now. But I found a quote from that was written in the book. Let us all ask ourselves, what kind of people do we think we are? And that's a question for us to ask ourselves. And this was a quote that Ronald Reagan made. Let us ask ourselves, what kind of people do we think we are? And I think I'm a very grateful person because God's been good to me. Oh, his picture disappeared.
He's coming back,
Okay.
I hope.
Here he comes back.
the
Probably
host
grabbing
now.
his Bucky book right now.
There he is.
Yes.
Oh, we're moving fast.
We have two Phil Pearsons.
There's my,
So thank you, Mary, for that. We appreciate that.
have you been out there this party?
Say that again, Phil, please.
Say it again.
Can you hear us, Phil?
I'm here, Marty.
Okay.
Can you see my picture?
Yes.
I
I see.
can't see all of you, but I don't know that you can see me.
Yeah, we can see. We can see you.
You
Can
gotta
you see me?
you gotta turn on your video, Phil. It's in the top, pardon me, the bottom left corner. It says video.
No, it's on.
There's,
I think it's on. I think your video is on, Phil. We can see you.
You can see me.
We can, and you
Wait.
look fabulous.
yes.
Right. And they know what to say. Not one man said I look fabulous and doing good. I could relax, but Smarty girl did. Okay, I'll relax now.
There you go.
Good.
But it's fun to see your faces, friends. There's big Jack Benson and his son. Wonderful.
Happy birthday, Phil.
Kaye. Hi, Mary. Bobby. Hi, Bobby. Meg.
Got more people coming in.
Where's Phil back? Let's see him. Okay.
Hey, Renee, welcome.
Make sure you guys say
Hi,
happy
can you
birthday.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
There's Mary.
Ah,
Mac.
where's that birthday man? There he is.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
I'll tell you, it's so wonderful to be a year older. You can't imagine.
Oh, that's so sweet to hear.
You suddenly think, maybe I do know something.
Of
Maybe you
course you do.
do.
You know a lot.
I love all of you as they come up. Now, what's fun is this is Jack Benson, apparently. Is that you, Jack? Yeah. But I don't reckon you got something growing under your nose and on your chin. What's that? I've never seen that before. You see, I can see
I
all.
want you to hear this.
Anyway, let's see if I can get more faces.
Yeah.
There I got
Marianne. Marianne, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Marty.
Marianne has something she wants to say to you, Phil.
Anybody that can get on the program here. I love all of you and appreciate you taking the time to want to check in with me on my birthday. I can tell you something I don't want you ever to forget.
Your birthday is tomorrow.
So, Phil, are you going to do anything special for your birthday?
Wait a minute, I'm in the middle of a big speech here.
Oh, okay.
What age you are, you feel the same inside, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Age does not touch you, as some of you know. I see Mary Mac there. Mary Mac's racing me. Who's to be the oldest? I think I'm ahead, aren't I, Mary?
Just a few months. Mine is October. Yours is tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's your beautiful daughter with her.
Hi, Phil.
Kayla, Kaye, Jack. And I don't know about your seeing me, but I'm enjoying seeing some of you that I've known for years and have had some communication with, but haven't seen your faces for a long time. And so it's fun for me.
Good.
Okay.
No worry, Phil. We
Renee?
see you. This is Brenda Boston, and we see you. So no worry, okay?
Yeah. Now, Brenda, How did you do that? You're filling the whole page.
No, I can't be filling the whole page. No. So
Phil's
I
got
just
you.
want you to
Phil's got
rest
you on speaker
assured,
view.
Marty, I'm just trying to give him some comfort that we do see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Margie and Bob, go ahead.
Thank
Sure.
you. Well, I just want to say thank you, Phil, for everything. But I will never forget the first time I visited Christ Unity Church in Sacramento. And it was Easter of 1988. And it was in the big community center downtown. And I had never been in such a powerful place as I was that day. And hearing how you brought together spirituality and science as you talked about, what we know in unity, it was something that from that moment on, I knew I had to be a part of unity and the unity movement. And my life is so much deeper and richer than it ever would have been if not for you and what you said that day and what you've continued to teach through the years. I was taking a walk the other day, and you know how we get in kind of a down place sometime, and people have been reminding me lately, well, think about what you're grateful for, Margie. And so I was walking through on this walk, and I was going through the alphabet, A through Z, thinking of things I was grateful for. And unity, is one of the big gratitudes. And you, Phil, you're one of the people I'm so grateful for in my life. So happy birthday.
Yes, Philip.
My
Happy birthday. And I
back and
will
forth, and I
always,
know Bob was doing that and telling you to shut up.
Not today.
not today. And Philip, I will always remember our time as neighbors in Lee Summit, where we lived about 2 blocks or so from you. And we'd get over there and we'd have holiday meals with you and Dot and shooting pool down in the basement with this pool shark right next to
Not
me.
me. Not me.
Yeah. And then also being the dean of the school when I was going through the program. And I just appreciate all your mentorship and all the wonderful contact we've had throughout the years here. So thank you so much for being in our life and happy birthday. And I think we're planning to come up there and visit you and to take you to dinner at Outback Steakhouse and get another big blooming onion we can share. So, all right, Philip, again, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate your love and support. And as Bob has just said, these two were with us when we were back at Unity Village and were a tremendous help to me. As Dorothy reached the stage that I'm at now, they were right there to help me and to bless Dorothy. So they mean a great deal. But all of you do because you've all played a part in our work, and people have been always so kind to me and to Dorothy, and they affirm we had a wonderful ministry. But we had a wonderful ministry because you folks heard us and saw us and decided, I want to stand up and be a part of that. And because you did it, we were able to be successful for a long time. And I think I would, well, I've got you for this minute. I think I'd like to affirm what more than anything I'd like you to know when you think back on Phil Pierson's ministry, that you would think back and say that what Phil said was so meaningful and pointed for him in his spiritual growth and what was the basis for what he tried to share in so many different ways with you. And that is our relationship to God can easily be a paper relationship. That is, we know all the right words and know the 23rd Psalm by heart and say, well, I believe that, and have a sense of it's true, the words that Jesus spoke that are true. And so that means a lot. And also, carries into a ministry in your life. But when I think of the incredible miracles that Dorothy and I experienced, and certainly I was privileged to experience, um, it was based on one thought, and that was, to me, my relationship to God was very personal and very real. That is, to me, God wasn't a piece of paper in the Bible, but God was a living reality that was constantly in communication with me in my life. So if I close my eyes, it would be easy for me to feel that God presence, a living being, was right there with me. And I had a personal relationship with God. And you may say, well, yeah, we all do. But to feel and know in your heart, God is interested in you. Bobby Spivey, Catherine Lombard, John Benson, Mary Calman. God has a personal relationship with each one of you. And you can't begin to understand that what I'm saying is not just a nice Bible word or Christian word, but it's a stark reality is when you realize that you are living, and this is the gift that unity gives to the world. You are living in the mind of God right now. There is no space, but God space, God mind. And when you realize that as I look at you and the faces on my screen is every one of you could tell me anything about your life and I could know where it was originated and where it was sustained. It was sustained. Is that my word? Yeah. It was kept in your life because it lives in your mind. And the greatest key that unity gave to the world was to move God out of the Bible per se and into the relationship, a very personal with you, because unity affirmed, Myrtle and Charles affirmed that God is universal mind. That's the key. God and you and I live in this mind, just like as I look at your faces now on the screen. Everything in your life that's going on, including looking at me right now, is there because it's in your mind. If you couldn't assume it into your mind through the gifts that you've been given physically and being told that what you're seeing is me, you couldn't know that relationship. But you and I have a personal relationship with God. And I know that sounds sort of, oh, yeah, okay, so what's new? It's new if you and I live like we are in the mind of God. And so when Fillmore's taught us that God is love, well, that immediately means there is nothing that you can do that can take you out of that relationship. Because the only reason you have it is because you're in the mind of God. God is love, so you can't be anything but what God is. And no matter how messed up you may be with your life, you are sustained by God's love. You can't change it because you can't change God. God can't change loving you because God is love. And I don't know, it meant so much to me to begin to feel that and know that. And I have effected things in my life that I thought, whoa, that's not good. You're not the boy that you ought to be the way the Bible says you ought to be. But it doesn't matter because God loves me. And therefore, God will lift me again. God is always there to help me. Let me just remind you a couple of my little stories that make me think that when God loves you and you're open to the fact that God is real and active in your life, everything is possible. And as I've had the privilege of going over with some of my family, some of the stories of my life that I love, not everybody knows it. I received in my lifetime at least $100,000 worth of educational gifts. You know, out of the blue, a group of men came along and said, we're looking for some people to send to some excellent prep schools so that they can be trained to serve the government. And lo and behold, they picked me. And so I went to one of the finest prep schools in the country. Most of you know that. And then, lo and behold, out of the blue, the same group of men gave me a 4-year scholarship to one of the top colleges in the country. Unsolicited. Never thought about it happening. It just happened. How could that happen to me? Because I'm better than anybody else? I see Bob Lagoy shaking his head. Yeah. Bob Brock is the one that's shaking his head. No, I'm not better than anybody. You know that. We're all the same in the sight of God and the truth. So anyway, the only thing that might differ me from many people that is worth saluting on my birthday is I believe with all my heart that God is universal mind, and I live in that mind. I can't get out of it. And in that mind, I am held in total love. And the only way I can keep from receiving these gifts of love and support is for me to denounce them constantly. And if you don't keep denying them constantly, they'll come to you because God wants you to prosper. God wants you to be happy because God is love. That's the Fillmore's whole gift. God is universal mind, and in that mind being is love itself. God can't be any other way. Nothing you can do is to get outside of God's love. Nothing you can do from God bringing you good things in your life unless you and I create a barrier to it by disbelief, by trying to override God's mind, God's love through our own lack of love and support for ourselves. As I look at all your faces here, I know there isn't one of you that stands outside of God's love. Totally. And all you have to do is every day is affirm that and then stand back and look for the good. I'm always tempted to tell my old stories, but think of how wonderful God works. You know, when I got out of ministerial training school, I went to work for a couple who had a church in Seattle, Washington, named, what were their names? Don and Dorothy. Don and Dorothy. I went to work with them with no idea except to learn, and that was a wonderful learning experience from a ministerial standpoint. But as most of you know the story, I fell in love with dear Dorothy, and fortunately she fell in love with me. But then we both decided we loved her husband more than we loved our own fulfillment. And so I decided that I would go to Hawaii because the headquarters was asking me to take over the minister in Hawaii. So I agreed I would do that, and that would take me out of the scene. Dorothy and I wouldn't be under any pressure. We could just go our own ways and be happy. But at the same time, in our hearts, it was very difficult to think that our love for each other would never be fulfilled. So anyway, we were all set for me to move to Hawaii. It was announced where I was, that I was going to take over the ministry in Hawaii. People were having parties for me, and I was getting my desk cleared in my office one day to go to Hawaii, and lo and behold, Don Dorothy's husband that we didn't want to hurt, and that's why I was leaving and going. Came into my office and broke down, sat down and broke down, started crying. A lot of you know the story, excuse me, but I could go over and over and I think how incredible God is. So, any event, I was packing to go to Hawaii. Everything was clear. And Don came into my office, sat down in a seat and began to cry. And I said, "Why are you crying, Don?" He said, "Because I've fallen in love." I looked at it was like I couldn't believe this. He said, "I've fallen in love." Well, anyway, that's, as some of you have heard this story before. He thought he was falling in love with some woman, bless her heart, who decided that she wanted him for a husband. Any event, who would think if you said, "Phil, you're leaving to go to Hawaii and you're leaving the love of your life, but it's okay. You want to be kind and thoughtful to this man." Who would think that at that time someone would come into his life that he would think, "I'm in love with her"? And so he felt privileged that Dorothy and I were able to go and be happy, and he was free then. But the timing of it is incredible. And I've had story after story like that. I remember when Connie Haynes came to work with us, the big band singer, sang in the White House 4 times. Who would think she'd want to come and be a part of your ministry? And I'll never forget when after graduation we were having a program and she came to me and said, I would like to come and work with you and Dorothy. And that decision on her part, which came totally out of the blue, is what caused us to be asked to go on television in Sacramento, California. Had that not happened, I can't imagine how we would have thought we could do a national television show. I use the word national. It wasn't quite national, but it was pretty big. We reached over 100,000 people on a Sunday. But how do you get there? If you said to somebody, "How do you get to there?" A couple of ministers, nobody's ever heard of you. How do you get on a television program and reach 100,000 people? Intellectually, if you'd asked me that before it happened, I said, "Oh, come on, there's no way." But my point is, God loved me and Dorothy, and our biggest success story was we believed it. We truly believed, and Dorothy especially brought the Charles and Myrtle Fillmore consciousness to our togetherness, and we were constantly giving thanks to God for the wonderful life that we lived and his goodness present in our lives. And they were hearing me say this about Phil Pierson, who's now 90-something or other, and the thought point my sharing that it applies to you. There isn't one of you. I don't care whether you. I don't know whether I said I don't know whether you collect garbage or not, and that's the height of your reaching so far. If you literally turn your life over to God, things that will happen through your work or through your personal life will be wonderful, because God's love knows no limit. I know that as an absolute. There's nothing any one of you listening to me has ever done or ever will do that will separate you from the will of God to pleasure your life and make it better. And God may have to work to do a little corrective work for you. As in all my stories, there was some reason that somebody did what they did, but God will always work for you, not just somebody who looks special or somebody who's had the greatest education or is the most pontificate. God will work for any one of us who loves God back with all your heart and soul. So I got on that talk. That's sermonizing. I'm supposed to be answering any questions you have. What do you know? What do you want to know? What can I tell you? What is love? Do you want to know? What am I, 90, 98? I'm 98. That's it. What's it like to be 98? And all I can say is that absolutely like it was to be 16 or 17 or 25, except your dear body doesn't always move with the ease that it did. So the only thing that changes as we go is not our inside self, nor our place in God mind, so that God can take wherever you are. God can take wherever you are and produce good for you and for those you share your life with.
So Phil, Mr. John Duffy has his hand up.
I got to stop my sermonizing, will you please? And
Thank you, Marty. And good afternoon, Phil. I just was really drawn to your comments about timeliness. And in early 1991, I was at a deep, dark, long night of the soul when I was going through a divorce myself, and I was led to your church, actually by the proximal cause of the divorce. And I was sitting out in the audience on the right hand side in the back, and you and Dorothy were leading the way. And you commented, you were talking about what you have to do to become a member at Christ Unity Church. So I was listening with a lot of attention. And first thing you did was tell us some things that you didn't have to do to become a member. You didn't have to commit to tithe. You didn't have to leave your old church. You didn't have to do a whole bunch of things. And after you went through those, you commented, there's only one thing you must do to become a member of Christ Unity Church. And then you said, you must commit to becoming a student of the truth. And you paused at that point. And being a wordsmith guy, I heard that pause and I said to myself, uh-oh, he's going to drop the other shoe right now. And sure enough, you did. What you said was, you have to commit to being a student of the truth as you see it. Wow. Did I ever sit back and just took that in? It washed over me like God's warm breath. And I've never forgotten that moment because that was a changing point in my life. And I thank you and Dorothy both for that very moment.
Can you talk a little louder, John?
Yes, I want to thank both you and Dorothy for giving me that moment. And I'm still working on that commitment to search for the truth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I love the sign behind you too. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. And that is so true. Yeah.
Thank you, dear Phil.
Yeah.
I think Nancy's ready to speak up as well.
Say that again.
Nancy Hilton is ready to either comment or give you a question.
Uh,
As soon as she unmutes, there you are.
That it? Okay.
Well, Doug and I, of course, loved every minute at Christ Unity Church. You and Dorothy are the absolute best and in our hearts forever. And I loved the humor you two had. And I'll never forget at the downtown church, Dorothy, as she might do now and then, would interject a little bit from her chair off to the side, and you were up in the pulpit. And you said, if I only had a trap door. And we all bust out laughing. You could just flick the lever and down Dorothy would go and her comments with her. So we love you, Phil, and we celebrate you and your wonderful 98 years. You're an inspiration.
Bless you.
Thanks for all you've given to the consciousness of unity. Yeah, in the city. Marvelous. Yeah, Mary.
Oh, happy birthday, Phil. I'm just moved to tears. I'm sorry. It was Julian Mackay. Julian Mackay got me to church at Christ Unity Church. And when I heard you and Dorothy speak, I was, I sat in the back for a month crying, but it was all good, all the releasing and listening to truth, and when you know truth, when you hear it, you know it. My whole being knew it and felt it. The gifts that you two brought. And I love what Nancy said because it was so true. There you'd be speaking so philosophically, beautifully, scientifically, prayerfully, everything else. And then Dorothy would pipe in with something. And it was just so, it was not only adorable, it was beautiful because you two did work in sync. And you both had a consciousness so high. I just want to thank you because of that, I stayed in unity all this time and very grateful for all the blessings you brought, both of you. And I remember when we were getting married, I said, well, I want Dorothy to marry us because I was shocked to see a woman minister. But Dorothy was away in Monterey, so you officiated our wedding and made it very, very special. So, just thank you, Phil. And I have a question. Are you having ice cream and cake tomorrow? Because I had to get into some ice cream before I sat down here because I thought it was a party. So I thought, well, since there's no cake coming my way, I'm going to at least have a nice big bowl of ice cream on Phil's behalf. So, and one more thing, if maybe when we're ready to go, Brenda sings, as always, beautifully in our church. And the last song, the featured song you sang today, Brenda, was so uplifting and sweet that I know that Phil would just love it. But I just want to thank you, Phil, for being in my life, for changing my life. Love you.
Bless you, Mary. And you certainly have taken anything we shared with you and you ran with it and done a great job. We're proud of you. Bless you, darling. Yeah. She's a wonderful voice for the truth. Well, all of you are,
Yes,
and that's
she
what
is.
I love about unity. As you take the teachings of unity and apply them to your life, you can't help but register on people around you because people around you generally aren't unitics. They're not, it's not, and you believe such wonderful thing is, as I've affirmed, God loves you without end, and that all things therefore are possible. You are never tied to any mistakes that you're willing to release and go forward in God's love. How wonderful. Yeah. So thank you, Mary, for your good work. That continues. Well, who we got here now?
Marty's going to do it.
Anybody else there that I have?
Brenda, Phil, this is Brenda Boston.
There you
And
go.
I was raising my hand, but it's okay. I just want to echo Mary. You say that Mary really embodied so much of what she learned when she was at Christ Unity, and she continues to be a wonderful teacher in truth, as learned from you and Dorothy. And I am still a part of her ministry, and I'm really, really grateful for her. But I know this is your birthday, so I want to say to you, though, that when we were downtown, I came to Christ Unity downtown in 77. I believe our first time, Margie and Bob, at the community center downtown, the big Sacramento Community Center, was when you came, because the church had not been doing a special service at the community center at that time. But we created this group called Love in Action, which was, I don't know if you remember, Phil, but Love in Action became a real part of how we were reaching out into the community. And I was one of the 12 members of Love in Action, and we went on to do shows. If you remember, Phil, around the corner from Christ Unity, we put on Christmas shows, we put on Mother's Day shows, we had the church involved in a whole lot of theatrical projects, which, as Mary just said, that's when she met Julie Lacaille. Julie Lacaille was one of our gentleman friends on Love in Action, and we did shows around the corner that really enveloped a larger community outside of the church downtown. And people that came learned more about what unity was about at that time. And that was when we were still downtown. And I'm very, very grateful to have been a part of that. Oh my God, am I grateful to have been a part of that. And then we moved to Folsom Boulevard, and I was still a part of that. Hello, Marty, and I was still a part of that. And today I'm still a part of Mary's church. Because COVID impacted a lot of us in different ways. So I'm still here, but Phil, I still have on my refrigerator. I still have the original magnet that says the best is yet to be from the TV program. You got one, Bobby? Okay. I've got the original magnet that it contains, it's still, what is this now, 30 something years old? It is on my refrigerator to this day. Okay. And the best is yet to be. And when I couldn't be at church, which was not very often, because as a member of Love in Action, I needed to be there in action as much as possible. But when I wasn't, and even now, the best is yet to be is still something that I hold in my heart, and that was the original magnet. And so, Phil, whatever you learned, whatever you shared, and no matter whatever questions you may have had about how did you end up being in this place, you ended up being in this place and opening up the minds and hearts of so many of us who did not understand the Fillmores, who did not understand. Was it squeaking? Are you not hearing me? You say I'm squeaking. I'm back. Am I squeaking? Hi, John. Am I squeaking to you too, John?
Well, I do hear squeaking. I'm not sure where it's
I'm
from.
sorry. There's nothing happening here in my room. So
it's just someone has a tough connection, and we're just going to go with it.
Okay, well, I'm turning down my speaker. Does that make a difference?
No, wait.
That could, because it could be feedback.
Phil,
sounds like feedback from the speaker and microphone.
I don't know what that's about.
Marty, this is Kim.
Yeah.
Can we move? We need to move Phil to the next room and use the other computer, because his computer the sound is not doing the right thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we can just hold that thought, Brenda.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna have to come over to that church and listen to you. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll hold that thought.
Okay, well, here we go.
Okay. In the meantime, hi, Marty. Hi, John. Hi, Greg. Hi, Bobby. Hello, Margie. Hello, Mary. Hello, Doug and Nancy. Hello, Margie and Bob. Hello. Oh, my God. It's so good to see you all. Oh, all of these years later. Oh, my God. And for him to be worried about whether or not he is keeping it together, I hope I keep it together when I'm his age. We can only hope for the best, and we do have the best, right? The best is yet to be. Still on my refrigerator. Okay. And there's one. This is the original magnet. And no matter what refrigerator, I've had 4 new refrigerators in these years, but it never leaves my refrigerator. And it is from the teachings of Phil and Dorothy Pierson. And I, yes, John, I get you. I'm clapping too. And I remember I used to work in the office downtown as well, and with the 3 ladies who were their primaries, and I had just started wearing afro,
back in your
and I had my band around my head, and Dorothy used to stop me in the staircase and go, "Could you move it up? Could you move it
So when
up?"
you went down to
And she would reposition the band on my forehead to be like, and I go, "Okay, thank you."
No.
You know, but then I'd get
Okay,
upstairs
so
and
right
I'd put
here
it
is
down
volume.
because she was correcting
There
my
you go, all the way
hairdo
up.
because
There you go, all the way.
afros were
There you
not
go.
the thing at the time.
There. Can you hear
But
that?
she was Mother Dorothy, and I
Yes.
listened to her.
Okay, Brenda, honey.
I'm done. I'm
Oh,
done.
you've done good, Brenda.
She's not.
And I know you'll continue to do good.
No, I just
And I
continue
know
talking. Huh?
Oh, that's great.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. I hear you,
Okay.
Phil.
Let me just affirm at this point that the best is yet to be has been, is brought right up front by you. And I love that because somebody might think, well, Phil, how do you feel about that when you're 90, whatever you are, 8 years old? Is the best yet to be? Do you know? You have to deal with such things. And I can say that it is a strength in my life to know that the best is yet to be, because God takes all that we have made a part of us that is positive and good and carries it with us into our next life. And therefore, the best is yet to be, because from everything we have learned, both from a unity standpoint and in the research of world experts, we don't take the negative with us. There are those who say we're caused to suffer and all the rest, but there's no real evidence that that is a truth. But the truth is there is a refreshing experience that opens the doors to us to take that which is good in our lives and build the best that is yet to be from there. And so if you ask me how I feel, what have I got to look forward to? I have the capacity to look forward to the best. And having been blessed with so much, there's no reason that I should doubt the thought that the best is yet to be. Wonderful word. Thank you, Brenda, for highlighting that for us again. And
I
that's,
have something to add, Bill.
that's true for all of us.
I have something to add, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Well, first of all, happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday.
Thank
what
you.
What I like to
Jack and
add is what I
Jackie
always,
Jr.
what I always do is I tell you what you've always told me. I look with wonder at that which is before me. Miracle follow miracles, and wonders never cease.
Good. I love that. Yeah. You know, when I first met this guy on the left here,
Oh, not my motorcycle.
he had a motorcycle.
Not the
And he
motorcycle.
came roaring up to where I was, and I
Oh.
went out and I said, "Oh, look at your motorcycle." And I reached over and started to pick the motorcycle up, and I couldn't hold it. It tore me and threw me on the ground. And all this guy, Jackie Jr. over here, has done is laugh at me ever since. I was not cut out to be a motorcyclist. Anyway, good to see you two guys. Wonderful.
How old are you today? Or how young are you today, Phil?
Say that again.
What year were you born in?
What year was I born in?
Yeah.
1927.
Okay, now I can do the math. Okay.
It doesn't make any difference how many years you have. It's what you've been able to do with those years. And I don't know if you're getting me, Phil, but I really believe that because of you, there are many, many, many thousands, millions of people who have been able to realize one simple fact. We are all here because we are children of God.
All right, I'll buy that. That's good.
Well, that makes you a child.
I like it.
Well, let's see. I'm looking for some new faces here.
Marty's doing that.
Can you put somebody else on there that's not there yet?
I don't know.
Yeah, Rodney, go ahead. We're going to hear from Rodney, Phil.
Where's Roger?
Hi, Phil. Happy birthday.
Oh.
I don't look the same as the last time we met. My hair is falling from here down onto my face.
I was going to say there's the bush there that's in the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see you, bush or not.
Yeah, I so appreciate what I've learned from you about. I mean, you would talk about science and all these other things, but then you also talked about the heart. And I kept that one saying, before you go into the sanctuary, discover the wonder of your own being. And I really take that to heart because every day is like discovering more of that. It's like the best is yet to be, deepening my understanding of that. And I really appreciate your commitment to that and sharing your light. And since then, I live up in Montesano, Washington now, and I'm I'm the chair of the board of Unity of Olympia up there, and I just did my first platform assistant today. And I was saying, well, and I thank God and Spirit in advance for helping me not just completely freeze up there. And so of course it worked out fine. But every day, I've heard said, well, as you get older, time speeds up. And I have not experienced that. It's like each day is feels like a week. It's like, what day of the week is this? And it's not because, well, maybe some of my memory is going, but it's like my life is so rich now from what I've discovered in unity and with spirit. It's just, I'm so present to things that every day is so full. And I've discovered Native American style flutes. I make flutes now and I play them. And I sometimes play it at the church I go to. And it's the breath, breathing into the flutes, the breath. It's so intimate. And it's like some of the music, I don't know where it comes from other than spirit. It's like God breathes me, the flute breathes me. And I'm just so grateful to you.
That's a good analogy, Rod. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. That's so special. Okay, have we got anybody else there I haven't had a chance to hear from?
Gail, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity, Phil, to say happy birthday. And earlier you mentioned the wonderful things that came to you out of the blue. I wanted you to know that you and Dorothy came out of the blue for me. When I came in 1991 to Christ Unity, you were my introduction to Unity and to the Fillmores. And it really has been a great assistance in my life, helping me to learn how to build on the good, moving toward the best. I appreciate it. And one other thing that nobody's mentioned that I've really loved from your ministry is those wonderful joy songs. Thank you.
Yeah. Good, thank you. I love bringing that up. Dorothy and I sang joy songs all the time in our private life as well as the church. because again, it quickens what is real. The universe God has given us is a joyful universe. The only hang-ups we create, and we have only to release them from our consciousness to be free and to live a joyous life. And thank you for confirming that. I love it. Well,
I still have a CD of you leading us in joy songs, Phil.
did you?
I have.
Oh, that's
that
right.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
I did do the joy song.
Yes, you did.
Well, let me tell you along that line. When I had been looking for a ministry to go to, and I never knew anything about the Unity ministry. But in a long story, which I won't share with you, I discovered Unity, and I flew out to Unity School to see what that place was like, because it sounded good, but I had had no Unity experience at all. So I flew out to Unity Village, and I remember I arrived around a lunchtime, and I walked into the main lunchroom that they had at that time, and there was a big guy standing in the middle of the people who were all seated at their tables for lunch, and he was talking at the top of his lungs. I learned later he was Dr. Dale, and he was very special to the Fillmores because he was known for being a health leader, how to be healthy through exercise and diet. But what I loved about him is I'd never heard of Unity, didn't know anything, and I arrived just at this time when this guy Dale is standing in the middle of this dining room, and in this loud voice he says, "All right, everybody, now," and he led this word, a Unity affirmation about joy. And he said, "Together." Now, mind you, I'm Episcopalian for many years. And he says, "All right, now, everybody." So at the top of his lungs, he shouted out some affirmation of joy. And I forget what all was involved, but I just remember thinking, whoa, I've never heard this, anything like this before. These people are certainly enthusiastic. So that got me started, and I've always been grateful to that. Yeah. I don't know what else more to say, folks.
No,
except it's been a joyous
they're talking
voyage.
to you.
Pardon me, what are you punching me for?
Because they're talking to you.
I think Renee's got something to say. Renee, go ahead.
Hi, everybody, and happy birthday, Phil.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful to be a part of this Zoom call. It came by surprise. I met with my Soul Sisters Luncheon ladies it's a group of women from Unity Days that we still get together. Sandy Azevedo kind of led it up. Anyway, I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to say hello and let you know how important you are in my life and throughout my adult years. My first experience of Unity was on L Street.
L Street.
L Street. And I came in there as a single young woman. My mom had told me about it. I don't know. I don't think she was there. I just went by myself and I sat in the back and I had a lot of attitudes about church and religions and had quite the wall. And all I knew is all they want is your money. And I just came with a lot of baggage. And I sat there just walking in the doors. I felt the love that I'd never experienced before. I was 24. I took a seat. I listened to everything. I listened to Dorothy. And then, here it comes, that money thing, I had nothing to put in the basket. And Dorothy had said, if it's not your time to give, just put your hand over the basket and fill it with your love. Right then, I knew I had found something extraordinary. And on somebody else's point, the songs I've listened to joy songs throughout the years. I still have your tape. I listen to it when I need to, make sure I have a cassette player. And but the ending song when we hold hands, that I can't explain how that filled me, even though church was ending, to hold hands with the strangers and feel the oneness with God like you speak of. And anyway, that's my thing. And hello to everybody. I know that I saw you there, Mary and Doug and Nancy and all my other friends. And anyway, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. You know, she mentioned Elstree, so I love to share these stories because they're so important to our faith. How we found Elstree. You know, when Dorothy and I were in Hawaii and they asked us to go to Sacramento because the church had fallen apart. The minister had run off with the organist, and anyway, it wasn't a happy scene, and the church attendance had fallen practically to nothing. And so they asked Dorothy and I to go there and see if we could help. And Dorothy and I immediately knew we needed a place to meet that we could call our own and build consciousness. So, how do you find a place in downtown Sacramento with no money to do that? And I will never forget, we were meeting some small rental place, and we were going to have a Sunday school teachers meeting for the little group we had. And a woman came to us and said, is it okay? I want to go to that Sunday school teachers meeting that you're going to. Is it okay if my husband comes? Well, we didn't know her husband. He didn't even come to the church as far as we knew. He didn't. And so, anyway, the day to go to the Sunday school teachers meeting came, and this lady was going to ride with us because she was going to bring this unknown husband. So they got in the car, and the husband sat up with me in the front seat because I thought he doesn't know anything about unity, but I'll make conversation with him. And so we started driving along, and I was trying to think of something to say to him, and I said, you know, what we need is our own meeting place here in Sacramento. But he said, we don't have a lot of money to do that. And he was quiet for a while, and then he said, you know, I've got a friend who's in real estate, and they've got an old bowling alley for sale. I said, oh, he said, yeah. He said, I'll arrange for you to look at it if you want. And I couldn't imagine an old bowling alley, but I thought, we'll look at anything. And so we looked at this old bowling alley, and it was an old bowling alley. But I won't drag this story any longer, except to make the point that that old bowling alley became our first Unity Church right opposite Capitol Park, perfect location. The money came to be able to buy it. But the point is, again, just think again. I'm trying to leave you with no other thought, folks. God knows everything about each of us and knows how to arrange things to give us the help we believe in, need, and believe in. So anyway, we take this man along on this church teachers meeting, which he never even went to church, but he's sitting with me, and I told him about the old need. We needed to find a place to have a church. He says, my boss owns an old bowling alley, period. Well, of course, we had no money, but I won't take the story any longer. As most of you know, it was somehow out of the blue, people came forward with the money, and we bought the old bowling alley, and that started the unfoldment of a wonderful work that has blessed so many people. And anyway, we're all a part of it. It's wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for your sharing, dear. Yeah.
May I add on to that?
Hi, Bobby.
Hi. First went to Unity at that bowling alley. And I don't know what it was that you and Dorothy spoke about that day, but like Renee mentioned, it was that gathering together, the feeling when you walk in the door, you could feel the love. And that engulfed me to the point, my husband and I went together. I was a Christian Scientist and I belonged to a Christian Science church, but I was not happy. I just wanted somewhere for my children to be brought into the fold of new thought. But the feeling that I got from the unity there on L Street was more than love. It was a gathering of spiritual people that reached out to me silently and included me, even though they didn't know who I was. And that was a feeling I had never, ever felt before. It took
That's
me a long
beautiful.
time to become a member. I wasn't a member until after you came back onto Folsom. But I lived close enough to go often, and I really appreciated the
Thank
feeling.
you, Bobby. Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, I suddenly think of someone I want to be sure to mention on this time together, and that is Tom Thompson. Some of you will know I'm talking about our great musician who led the music of our ministry for so many years and went to Hawaii with us and was responsible for taking equipment into the Hawaii jungles with me to do our programs from there. Tom was a great asset to the Unity work. There's something more I wanted to say about Tom, done it?
And you know what? The other
Somebody
thing
else
about
say something I forgot. Look who's there.
Hi.
Claudia.
I'd like to say something about Tom. Tom was a great marketer. Tom, in his subtle way, knew about marketing, didn't he, Phil? And he really, remember he bought Mark Hansen to the
Yeah.
church, and I talked to Mark. The story I heard was he and it's just when Mark had put out that little booklet, and Mark Victor Hansen started then kind of thinking about what more he could do. So Tom was a really super musician, but he was also a wonderful marketer, and I think he was part of the brains behind The Best Is Yet to Be in terms of its development.
Absolutely, because it was Tom that took the miracle that we had. Let me remind you of that miracle. One time I was uh, talking to a group of people, and I said, you know what the best is yet to be needs is the ability to do the show from Hawaii. Well, we had no money to take our crew and everybody to Hawaii. But I made this statement. And out of the blue, a few weeks later, I got a call from a man. He said, I understand you would like to do your television program from Hawaii. I said, we sure would. He said, well, I can make that possible if you will promise to use our airline whenever you have a retreat. That was asking practically nothing because we always had to have a airline to go to our retreats. So anyway, uh, he turned out to be the business manager for Western Airlines. And so from then on, all we had to do to call or to go to Hawaii to produce our show was to call up directly to the Hawaiian Airlines ticket office, and they knew us. And we just say, we want to go to Hawaii and take our crew. They didn't say, how many times have you already been, or are you sure? They'd say, yes, sir. And so we'd have a ticket whenever we wanted to go to Hawaii for Dorothy and myself and our crew, of course, Tom. And that opened up Tom's great capacities because we not only did the show sort of sitting down in Hawaii somewhere, Tom explored particularly places in the jungles of Hawaii. And we would do some of those interesting and fun shots in the world by waterfalls there in Hawaii with Tom lugging all the equipment down there so we could do it.
Well,
Okay.
I'd like to add I'd like to add one of the things that I enjoyed about Christ Unity was the Asilomar retreats. I thought that was just, I never got to go to camp as a kid. So for me, that was church camp. And it was just amazing. The talent, the camaraderie, the atmosphere of just that spiritual atmosphere and being on the ocean in Monterey. And that was your vision, wasn't it, Phil? I mean, that was you and Dorothy. I can't imagine anybody else in the Western region had the oomph to put that together for all of the churches in the greater Sacramento area and Monterey, etc., the Northern California. But that was really wonderful. It was a wonderful memories.
Yeah. Well, everything that we're celebrating that I've been blessed to be a part of in my ministry has been something that I didn't do. I just reaped the rewards of it. You know, when I was given the honorary doctorate degree by Unity Schools educational program, uh, I I was supposed to make a speech, so I made a speech and I told them all these things that had happened to us in the ministry, and I said, but I didn't do it. And every time I say that, everybody would break out laughing. They thought it was funny. But the funny part, I meant it. We didn't do it all. It just happens. But it happens as a result of consciousness, which would be Dorothy, myself, and the other people, like the board members, like Claudia, all held to the conviction that God is love and nothing's too big for God to do for us because God loves us. And we just have to live with that expectant attitude. The best is yet to be. I'm enjoying this program being renewed in our wonderful statement. The best is yet to be. And we know that, for instance, when people say, well, what do you think about dying? Well, I know one thing about dying is that if you're in tune to spirit, the best is yet to be. It's going to work for your highest good. Miracles will happen. If miracles can happen here in this dimension, once God's got you in the other dimension, all sorts of wondrous things are possible. So we expect the best. Thank you, Claudia, for your years of service to our ministry. You were special.
Well, thank you, Phil. And I just want to say that, at 88, when everybody else is probably ready to look for, I don't know what, we approached Phil and said, what do you think about starting up a ministry again? We need your message. And he's like, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure. Well, tell me more. And pretty soon we're out looking for churches. So thank you, Phil, for having that energy at 88 because it's such an inspiration. So here you are at 98 and we're Zoom calling. Happy birthday, Phil. I want to be on next year and when you're 100 and when you're 108, God willing.
Well, age does impact us, there's no doubt about that. But at the same time, you can learn to go with the flow of it when you know the best is yet to be. You're on your way to the good. It is no finality.
I see Andrea has her, Andrea's been trying to get on with Mary, so you need to unmute, you guys.
We lost him.
No, she just have to unmute. They're going to take care of that.
Maria.
There you go. All right, you're on, Mary.
You're on. Thank you. Bill, the first time I entered Unity, I knew about it before because Mama was introduced to Daily Word and also We Wisdom. And I read that and I came down to the church, the Capitol Church, and I looked around the church. Nobody in there looked like me. So as soon as the service was over, I'd rush out the door and Dorothy would say, you. And I didn't know who she was talking to. I'd keep walking out. And a lady stopped me and she said, she's been trying to catch up with you for the past 2 weeks. And I looked at her, she said, listen, You are welcome. It doesn't make any difference what color you are, who you are. You're welcome to unity. And I read Daily Word, still read Daily Word. We Wisdom. I have a copy of the 100 Years of We Wisdom. And it would be really good if We Wisdom would come back for children now so that everybody, all children can stop with telephones, just have some different messages. And my mother always said to me, God's bank ain't broke yet. So just keep on and you'll make it. And where I am now, I remind my children every day of what my mama said. And I got a letter from Phil and Dorothy reminding me also when I worry about mortgage and different things, I will always remember what Mama said, and it's true because I'm where I am now because his bank wasn't broke and it still operated. Thank you for listening.
And Mary,
Yeah. Yes,
what was
Phil.
it that Dorothy said to you that you loved so much?
She told me it didn't make any difference what color you come back anytime. I want you to stop running out for church. I'd leave before church ended because I was the only little brown person there. And I left because I remembered days in Tampa, Florida, how being treated. And I didn't want it to happen here because I knew it was going to stay here for a long time. And I'm very appreciative. Dorothy saved my life in many instances, even teaching school, when my superintendent said things to me, which will be in the book, Phil, that I'm writing. The superintendent said, if I'd been superintendent, you never would have gotten the job. And I had all my gang members, the Bloods, the Crips, and every gang in Sacramento. And I've been teaching my boys good manners. And when he said that, the boys stood up and I put my hand up and they sat down. They said, we were just going to teach him some manners. So if at all possible, I hope Unity will bring back We Listen. It's the best children's book in the world. Thank you for listening.
And I want to say, Mary, I've had the privilege of seeing cards that you have given to Phil, and I want everybody to see. I don't know, I can't see where I'm at here.
Way over on the right.
Anyway, I can't see me.
We can see it, Kim.
Okay, so
His birthday cake. We always found things. Yeah, we always found things, cards, to make him happy. And each time we send him a card, it has an animation of something going on, and he seemed to enjoy those.
oh man, yeah, and I don't know where you get them all. They're great.
Well,
but Phil, I'm 97 now, so you will have one up on me.
We're having a race, aren't we, Mary? Yeah. Well, some of you probably don't know that Mary has been a wonderful part of our church, but Mary also served the Sacramento community in taking young men who had lost their way and put them in a school where she taught them not only to be good citizens, but how to be gentlemen. Oh, I love the stories that she has to share of how her young men became not only renewed citizens after having a very rough start in their lives, and they became that, and they became gentlemen. And so, if she stood up, they stand up. They do whatever gentlemen should do, and she was a great strength in the unity scene. So not in the unity scene, in the Sacramento scene, and has been honored by the city for her work. So we're grateful that she's been a uni student. God bless you, Mary. And let's let's stop racing for 100, shall we? Let's slow it down a little.
Happy birthday now.
October.
Love you. Yeah.
Yeah, Phil, happy birthday now.
Yes. Happy birthday, Phil.
I think Margie's got her hand, Margie Miller. If you got to unmute there. There you go.
You. Thank you. And happy birthday, Phil. It's so good to see you. And I had actually been thinking about you, and because once they changed the format at the Capitol Unity, I couldn't see you anymore through the Zoom. But anyway, we came to Unity, I think soon after you came from Hawaii, because my grandmother was in Unity, not a church, but just a gathering of Unity people in Chico, California. And she said, when you're ready to go to church, find a Unity church. And so Ted and I brought our two children. They were just starting school, and he had a job across from the Capitol. And soon after, he got a diagnosis that he was going to go blind over a long period of time. So he came and met with you and Dorothy, and Phil said, I think I have some things you could do. And so you gave him the opportunity to get involved with that biofeedback program you had for a short while.
Oh, yes, of course.
And just recently, when he passed away, I got rid of some of that furniture that when he left the church to go to Los Altos, he took with him and had all those years. And when he passed, I needed to release it, but I still have the office chairs. So, but what I just want to say is, I don't know if any of you remember this book that Dorothy had done, but in there are pages and pages of pictures that were taken of you through the years and so many other ministers. And this is such a treasure. In fact, when I knew we were going to have a chance to see you, I went around and gathered up all your books. And of course, I started reading them, and I just got such a renewal again in many of your truths. And one thing that you gave to Ted was that he had, because he knew he wasn't going to be able to see eventually, he had to actually remember the things that you said. And throughout the years, I was always amazed that he would come back and feed me the truth that you and Dorothy had shared with him. And so so Unity goes on, and I am just so grateful for that we had a chance to be a part of your ministries years ago.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that to my memory because that was a happy time. And I enjoyed working with your husband and with you. So bless you and thank you.
I see Kevin's hand and Jack there.
Yeah. Hey, Philip. I just have a quick question regarding this board right here. Is there a story behind this board? Who's the one who made this chessboard right here? Was it your father?
Who made the chessboard?
Your father?
Who made the chessboard?
Oh, who made the chessboard?
My dad said your father did.
Well, I don't, you stumped me. That's one question I can't answer. I don't remember. My dad may have done it. He enjoyed woodwork, but I don't know where that came from. I probably paid a big price for that at a store and you took it home one day when you were a kid. I don't know.
Well, Dad said your father made it, and it's come a long
Okay.
way.
I don't really remember. Yeah. I think it was my dad. Yeah.
Well,
Boy,
we have
that's
time. We have time for just a couple more comments. Who hasn't had a chance to share?
You don't remember. He just says, yeah, my dad
Hold that, Brenda. Let's see if there's anybody else who hasn't had a chance.
Marty.
Yeah.
Can I say a few things?
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I've already stuck my nose in a few
And I
times
think,
already.
I think Greg also has something he wants to say.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that the story that where I, came from off and on. I was in college. I started on L Street, and I was also in the Connie Haynes group, the singers, our soul singers, whatever it was that we called ourselves. And then once I left Sacramento in around 76, I would come back and forth and visit my parents. And so I would always go to the church. And my best girlfriend that I have, we actually started during college and Phil actually married her and her husband. And so all my life, even when I went to Tennessee, I would come back and forth. And then the good thing was when the church moved to Folsom Boulevard, it was just a few blocks from my parents' house. So what I would do when I came and visited, because I grew up as a Christian Scientist, and when I'd go to the 9 o'clock service, half an hour, pick up my mom, take my mom, and we'd go to the Christian Science Church at 10 o'clock, come back, and then hit the rest of the service at 11:30. So I got two things in. So anyway, so I've been, knowing them, and I think it seems to me that even when I moved to LA for a little while, that I actually could get their TV program. So anyway, Unity's been a part of my life for a long time.
I'm glad she mentioned Christian Science, because I would like to mention it myself before we wind this up. And that is that I got my beginning as a child, 6 or 7, in a Christian Science church. It was a beautiful stone church, big, beautiful church, right opposite where we lived. And so every Sunday, my parents did not go to church, but they'd open the front door and shoo us across the street to go to the Christian Science church. And it was a beautiful church and beautiful big organ. And at the end of every service, we kids down in the Sunday school would come marching up both sides of the main altar area upstairs, singing the same song. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Well, at 6 or 7, when I sang that, I was going for God. That was for sure, and that spirit never really left me. So I'm happy to pay uh, thanks to the Christian Science Church, because they really convinced me that I was very important to God and that I had a role to play for God. And it was big time stuff when you march up to this big organ and you come up on both sides of the big organ, and the adult congregation would be upstairs waiting for you kids to come around, and they all had big smiles on their faces as they looked at us kids who were singing Onward Christians. So anyway, I started out being a Christian soldier, and I hope I've done a little positive combat for God, for Jesus.
All right, Greg, go ahead.
Happy birthday, Phil. And one more memory from Best Is Yet to Be, McGregor.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
This is Lily, and Reverend Mary's actually blessed her at a pet blessing. So Lily has been in the meeting, and she's very grateful.
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning Mr. McGregor. How we loved him.
And one more memory then after Best Is Yet to Be, going up to Prove Me Now.
Prove me
That
now.
look, that
Oh,
looks
yes, they
like,
Prove
Is
Me
that
Now, a
me?
DVD and newsletters.
wow, you've got a lot of the old paraphernalia.
Yeah,
Me too.
there you
Prove
go.
me now. The 12 Freedoms by
Yes.
Phil
Oh, the
Pierson.
12 freedoms, yeah.
The 12 Freedoms. And also the ABCs of spiritual metaphysics. And these are cassettes. And I don't know who does cassettes these days, but I am all of the wonderful education that these cassettes that you put together can offer a new wisdom for. And so I've kept them on my shelf looking for the right place because they are cassettes and I don't know where to put them. Anyone have an idea? But this is you, Phil.
How
Like you
about
said,
that?
Greg, it's the Prove Me Now series of the 12 Freedoms, and it is the ABCs of spiritual metaphysics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody does cassettes these days, but
Well,
they're here.
thank you, Brenda, for
Oh,
mentioning
yeah.
those. I have authored a number of books, and I think the most important book was the 12 Freedoms that I wrote, because that was the wonderful gift of the Fillmore, especially Charles Fillmore, when he recognized that we had these faculties of mind that were the tools that we each use to live a good life or less than good life if we don't use them. But we all have these marvelous tools, the 12 powers. And so, anyway, if you're interested and haven't read any of my books, the 12 powers is one I would recommend for sure.
Yes, thank you, Phil. And Brenda, I have I have those same cassettes in my collection, so I appreciate you raising those up. Hey,
Yeah.
Brenda, I don't want to put you on the spot but someone
Put me on the
suggested that
spot, Marty. Put me on the spot.
I
I'm a
knew you would love
curiosity
it.
person.
Would you
I would
be,
love it.
would you be willing to close us off with a little song?
Oh my God, would I?
Would I be willing what?
Not you, Brenda.
Oh,
Brenda's
Would
gonna
I?
sing. Brenda's gonna close us out with a song, Phil.
Okay, now I thought that we had 3 to 6 as a slot, and it is now 4:30. So I just thought we'd be here, for the 3 hours. But if we're closing down now, I am so ready. I'm so ready to. I mean, but Phil, in our time together 35 years ago, we used to just do a normal happy birthday. But in the years since, we now sing at Unity Churches a Stevie Wonder song that is a happy birthday song. I'm not going to do that for you today. I will always say to you, happy birthday, beloved Philip Pierson. You have meant so much for so many of us. And like Claudia said, yeah, we kind of like to see you at 108. So, but for today, if I could just say, because I had the blessing to be today with Reverend Mary Lacaille at her church, and we did a song called Give Thanks. And I don't know, she brought it up to me. I did it for the first time today. And I think I can do it if you're okay with me. Just I did it today for the first time. So, but I feel listen to the spirit, Brenda. Don't argue. I feel led to say, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Give thanks, give thanks for all that is. Give praise, give praise. Give praise, give praise, give praise for all that is. There will never be another day just like today. So give praise. Give praise now. Namaste. 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 Give praise now.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you. And that's probably a good note, maybe to wrap up this sharing. Has anybody got one last word to say before we close?
Marty.
Well, I want to hear Stevie Wonder's Happy Birthday by Brenda.
Yeah, can we all sing happy birthday?
I mean, that's what I came for.
Happy birthday to ya.
ya.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Here's the one. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Bum, 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 bum. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
Thank you all. I love you. Thank you for
We
being a
love
part
you.
of today's
We
celebration.
love you. Thank you so much for your
I
service.
carry
Thank
you all in my heart. And so
Amen.
wherever I go, whatever lies before me, you go with me. God bless you and thank you.
God bless you. Thank you, Phil.
you.
Thank you.
God bless you, Phil.
We love you, Phil.
Marty,
Love
it's
you
been a
too.
full day for you, but
Thanks,
thanks, Marty.
everybody.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you, Marty.
Thank you,
It's good to
Phil.
see you,
Praise
Marty.
God, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy
Bye.
birthday, Phil.
Bye, Mary. I want to read the
Au
book.
revoir.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Andrew, make sure that book comes our way, okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.
That's going to be an amazing book.
Who's